Got it.
Hello and welcome to our December edition of Q&A Talks. This is our first month-long or year-long program that Project Q&A launched, and we're excited to be ending the year on a great note. Tonight we have our topic for managing stress, and we have Erin Bunn, who's a health coach, here to talk about that. Erin is a certified health and life coach, lover of food, and helper of people. She has a bachelor's degree in social science from Kansas State University and received her coaching certification from the Health Coach Institute. Prior to becoming a health coach, she worked for more than 15 years in social services, including community mental health, adoption, and home visitation with families who were pregnant and had very young children. Tonight, if you have any questions for Erin, go ahead and post them in the comments, and I will collect all of those and ask her at the end of this program. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Erin.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for inviting me to talk to your group this evening. Before we get started, I think it would be helpful if you're listening, if you could have like a piece of paper and a pen or like a document opened on your computer, just for a couple of practices that we're going to do. So just really quick about me. Yes, like Brandon said, he mentioned all my experience with working in social services for over 15 years and my training that I have. In addition to those things, I also have a veggie farm. So I'm a health coach and veggie farmer now. Our farm is called Bunn's Backyard Farm. And also, in addition to this experience, I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I have a lot of knowledge between my professional and my personal experience that makes me very familiar with the stressors and challenges that come with parenting and family life. I'm also very familiar with the toll that these stressors can take on our bodies. You know, as caregivers, it's very easy to put ourselves on the back burner, putting everyone else's needs before ours. And of course that would happen. I mean, we have human lives depending on us. So, you know, that's very common for that to happen. But especially through my coaching program, I love helping people find ways to move themselves up on the priority list. Because all of the, you know, the cheesy sayings are true. You really can't pour from an empty cup. You really do have to put your oxygen mask on first. You know, all those sayings about self-care. Self-care isn't selfish. You know, these are all true. So how do we do this? How do we help ourselves when we feel so beat down by the stress of life? Well, I have no magic potion for making our stressors go away, unfortunately, but I do have some tools that I'll share with you today to improve how you feel on a daily basis, you know, and these are tools for just increasing your self-care, essentially. It's really important when managing stress because increased self-care equals increased ability to manage stress. You know, essentially, like the more frequently you practice self-care, the easier it is to access the calm feelings when stressful things arise. You know, it's kind of easier for your brain to get there in those situations, the more frequently you practice it. So what is self-care? So you've probably heard a lot about self-care. Yes, of course, it's taking care of your body, showering, you know, brushing your teeth, all those things. Care for your outer self is, of course, very important. But the care I'm talking about is more about the inner work that needs to be done on a regular basis. The stuff that takes you from just, I'm getting by, I'm okay, like I'm surviving, I'm not sad or anything, you know, I'm doing okay. It takes you from that to more of like a thriving mentality. You know, it's more about quality of life than just quantity of life. It's really my favorite part of coaching, is just helping people figure out how to prioritize themselves and master self-care. I looked up some definitions of self-care in case that would be helpful to anyone. And Very Well Mind describes self-care as a conscious act one takes in order to promote their own physical, mental, and emotional health. They go on to say that when you take steps to care for your mind and body, you'll be better equipped to live your best life. So, I mean, I want to live my best life, and I'm sure most of you do too. So it's really important, and we all deserve it. I mean, I think that's the number one key here, is that we all deserve to live our best lives. Okay, so I'll jump into just a little information about how we actually do this. How we get to the point where we are making ourselves a priority. So first, setting yourself up for success when you are trying to establish some self-care practices, some stress management routines, things like this. The first thing you want to do is determine where you are right now and where you want to be. So I would encourage you to look at things like, what's my stress level on a daily basis? Do I feel like I have coping skills that I'm happy with and that make me feel good? Or could my coping skills use an upgrade? What's my food situation? After I eat, do I feel nourished, or do I feel like, oh my God, why did I eat that? All these things are things that are good to consider when you're just considering your overall well-being. Am I taking time for myself to do anything? Like, do I literally do anything just for myself? These are all things that are good to think about. So you ask yourself, you kind of think about those things, you write it down. Like, that's what's really important as you're going through this stuff. I feel like if you write things down on a piece of paper, it just makes them so much more real, and you can see them, it keeps them somewhere you can see. There's just all these things you can do to make them more tangible. So once you decide on the growth that you want to have, you really want to also think about, like, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to feel better? What good things will happen when I feel better? And write those things down too. So when you do things, when you set these things up for yourself, what I want, how I want to feel when I get it, why it's important, it really helps you anchor to the process, anchor to like your reasons for doing the things that you're going to do. So, okay. So once you set some goals around self-care, you're going to need some self-care tools. And so there are bajillions of things out there related to self-care and stress management and all these things. And so I'm just going to share 3 tools today that I use on a daily basis that are simple and practical and yet super powerful things that you can do. That's what I'm all about, is realistic things that are also very effective. Okay, so number one is action eats stress. So I love this one. I learned this one from a former self-care mentor named Shelly Mays, and I love the visual of action eating stress. I always picture like a Pac-Man eating the word stress. That's, the visual I always get when I think about this one. And one reason that this one is important is because when we set goals for our happiness, stressful situations are often what throw us off track, and then like sort of defaulting to our old coping mechanisms that maybe we aren't happy with or whatever. So one thing that you can do is this action eats stress when a stressful situation comes up. So what type of action exactly? So I do not mean the kind of action where you're just sort of keeping yourself busy to like avoid the stress. So I'm not talking about like, okay, I'm stressed out, so now I'm going to run over here and do this and fold the laundry and like, going and going and going and not stopping. I'm talking about the sort of action where you stop and do an intentional action. So just like imagine this situation, you're feeling stressed. Maybe you're like scrolling and you read something that makes you feel scared or angry or anxious, or you get a phone call that gives you anxiety or whatever could cause this. And you start to go for your coping strategy that's very effective, like grabbing a piece of chocolate. That is a very effective coping strategy because it gives you comfort. But unfortunately, it's a really short one. It'll make you feel good, and then it'll make you feel bad for like a little while later. It's a short-term strategy. So then you're going to the candy bowl, and then you remember, oh, wait a minute, action eats stress. I remember the Pac-Man. Let me try that first. Okay, and so here are a couple of actions that you can do. So don't be mad at me, but I'm going to make you stand up and do this one with me. And don't worry, no one can see you. I mean, I can see Brandon, but I can't see anyone else. Okay, so the first one is the one that I really love. Can you see me? Let's see if I should turn this down. So a very simple one that I feel like is really effective that I do often when I need to just like stop and just like stop is, okay, you take your arms to your side, breathe in as you raise your arms up, breathe in through your nose, and then exhale slowly through your mouth as you bring your arms down. Really slow. Okay, we'll do it 2 more times. Breathe in and breathe out and go really slow. Okay, 1 more time. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out. So that's like a super simple action that you can do just to sort of stop your stress cycle. Another one that I really like, another former mentor taught me this one. It's called fluff your aura. So you just literally go like this all around your body for like, 30 seconds or something. It's just like this crazy motion that just gets you out of your brain. And also it just kind of helps you move around. Another good one is stretching from side to side. I don't know the science behind it, but there's something about reaching across your body to lessen stress. It's good for stress and anxiety and such. Okay, you can sit back down now. Those are the 3 I wanted to show you. Have you try with me? Thank you. Okay, so I like those because they're simple, and anytime you can interrupt the stress pattern, it's a good thing. So those are super simple things that you can do anytime you want to. You need absolutely nothing to do those things except for your own body. So those are a few of those. So, okay, so that's all for number 1, action eats stress, Pac-Man. Okay, number 2 is fresh air daily. So why is this one important? Well, you can find tons of research out there on why this is important. Like fresh air improves the immune system and the digestive system. It gives you energy. It can help with blood pressure and heart rate. It makes you happy. These are just big things just from going outside and taking some deep breaths. It's pretty amazing. Now these last couple of years are the first years that I've implemented this consistently, like intentionally, consistently on the really cold days and the really hot days. And it does take some getting used to. It does. But it's such a simple and super helpful way to just feel better fast and just sort of give you, again, interrupt that stress cycle and just give you a different perspective, stepping outside, taking a few deep breaths. And I recently got a tip on how to handle the cold weather from a friend's husband. He said, when you're outside and it's really cold, relax your body and think warm. And I've put that in, I've implemented that this year. And it's really helpful. It's funny how just like shifting your thinking about the cold is like, okay, I can tolerate this a lot better now. So anyway, that one, fresh air daily, super straightforward. It's for everyone. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. Set yourself a goal for some outside time daily. Open the windows, even if it's cold out. Open the windows for like 15 minutes. There are easy ways to get fresh air daily. Don't go outside if there's 55 to 85 mile per hour winds or whatever, like there are right now. But normally when it's safe, go outside and get some fresh air. Okay, so that was number two. And the third one that I want to share with you is another simple, powerful one, and it is get yourself a mantra. So, what's a mantra? Well, it's a saying. It can be just like one word or like a short phrase or a couple of phrases that are meaningful to you for your specific need. So, for example, if you want to feel more confident, like say before you give an online training, your mantra might be, I am confident. I know what I'm doing. I mean, it can be simple as that. I am confident is seriously like such a helpful mantra. It's such a helpful saying when you expect like anytime. Um, there are endless options, like whatever you need to feel more of, make that your saying. I am beautiful, I feel calm and peace. I am worthy of love. I am safe. Like these are all things that can just have a huge impact if you can just sort of have them in your brain regularly. So whatever you need to feel more of, make that your mantra. And then say your mantra as much as you can. Say it out loud when you're by yourself. It feels weird at first to be talking out loud when you're alone, but it's amazing what saying the words out loud, just saying them out loud can actually do for you, for your brain to like really believe what you're saying. While you're sitting at a stoplight, you can be thinking it while you're in a boring Zoom meeting, not this one, obviously, because it's awesome. But, it's such a great tool because nobody knows you're doing it. You can do it literally anywhere and nobody knows you're doing it. And it can just be such a great way to boost your overall feeling. So anyway, it's incredible how much more confident I feel when I say my I feel confident mantra. It really is crazy. So now I have one more practice for you to do. You don't have to stand up this time, but if you could just take a piece of paper or on your phone or your tablet or whatever, take a minute now and just write down a mantra for yourself. Something that you would benefit from feeling more of in your life right now. Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's safety, maybe it's peace. My mantra sometimes changes, sometimes stays the same for several days. Like I'm not really sure how it is for other people. That's just what works for me. So yeah, write it down, write down whatever comes to mind that you're like, man, I would feel so much better if I could feel more of that. And once you have it written down, we're going to do a quick little practice with it. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Think of your mantra, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. So another deep breath in through your nose. Mantra. Exhale. One more time. Inhale through your nose. Mantra. And then exhale. It's nice. Just like 3 deep breaths is just a powerful thing to do in general. But doing the deep breaths combined with your mantra is like just a really powerful way to just like integrate that thought into your whole body. It sounds kind of strange, but it's just like a way to sort of amplify the words, I guess. So, and it helps you feel more relaxed when you're done doing it. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. Okay, so we've covered the 3 things. Action eats stress. So remember, next time you feel anxious, just picture Pac-Man eating the word stress. And then you'll remember to hop up and do your action. We covered fresh air daily, even if it's like 5 or 10 minutes, even if it's just an open window, even if it's super cold or super hot. And we've covered the power of just having a saying that you anchor to that's meaningful to you throughout your day. So those are like 3 super simple yet highly effective tools that you now have in your toolbox. And I just have one last thing to share with you. And that is to remember that self-care is not selfish. And in fact, it is essential. And I know it can be so hard to do the things that don't seem like they're important as far as like the day to day, like to-do list that we have to do, and they're, feed everyone and whatever. But the more frequently you make yourself a priority, the more natural it becomes, and the less guilt you feel about doing it, about taking time for yourself, because we all feel guilt about doing it, especially if you're a parent or caregiver. I mean, I think most people in general do, but especially as parents and caregivers, you just feel guilt naturally, I think, about taking time for yourself. So, and the other thing is, it's okay to ask for help. Maybe you ask a friend or a family member or your partner or whoever, just to take over for like an hour. So you have like a dedicated hour for yourself or whatever, it's okay to ask for help. Maybe you enlist a coach like me, someone, whatever it takes to get someone, to help you stay on track with your goals. That's the big thing, to help ensure you'll follow through. But anyway, now you have 3 simple tools to implement. They're so easy. You could start implementing them right after this live stream is over. But thank you, Brandon, for inviting me. I think everybody has my contact info if you're interested in getting support through coaching, or if you need some veggies in the summer or whatever. But I think we have some time for questions, right, Brandon?
Yeah, and I posted your Facebook, or tagged you on Facebook, and the comments, as well as your website. So if anybody's interested, please visit her website and like her on Facebook. I did have a question, and at the end, you talked about making yourself a priority, and how is there any advice you can give on like how you can implement that? Like an easy way to implement that?
Yeah, for me, what I do is I literally just find pockets of time. So like I take advantage of one of my big things is like trying to clear the clutter out of my life, like not just physical clutter, but like the clutter, this kind of clutter of scrolling, whatever, the kind of like things we just default to, and we're like, okay, I'm done before I move on to the next thing, I'm just going to scroll for a minute or whatever. Instead, taking those moments, you can get a lot done in 5 minutes of, you can do a lot with 5 minutes, of whatever, hopping up and doing a 5-minute like walk in place, whatever, or like a 5-minute gratitude journal, or whatever you want to, whatever you have found that is powerful to you, that makes you feel good. It's really easy to like do those things in little 5-minute increments. That's like a good starting place, because everyone has 5 minutes. Like you can find 5 minutes everywhere, and a lot can be done in 5 minutes if you really just like are focused on it. That's a tip that I would have.
Well, I think that's all the questions we've got in the chat. And
Okay.
thank you for taking your time and joining us on this stormy evening. So we very appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm glad we didn't lose power. And I talked fast, and that probably helped, because
it's all right. We didn't want to get shut off with the storm anyways. So.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all who tuned in tonight. Be sure to visit Erin's website and check her out on Facebook. And thank you, and you all have a great evening.
Thanks, Brandon.